Hey guys, it's your girl Mo, and this video is not about score. It's about what is going to count towards points for this week's brand new trial, Open Containers in the Port Authority building at Ribbon Tides. If you are going to go for max points, there are two keys that you'll need. The first is called the Classified Records key card, and the second one is called the Secure Storage key card, and that is the locked room within a locked room. So, as promised, here are two run-throughs that I did, not worried about points, trying to figure out how far outside of the building counts, and here's what I found. Starting with the obvious, everything inside of, on top of, and underneath this building counts. I brought zip lines in. They're not really necessary. There is a balcony that kind of wraps partially around the building, and there are containers sometimes that are searchable. Everything here was counting for points for me when I was finding them. On the northeast wall of the building, there is this little blue cooler. This blue cooler definitely tracks towards your points. I ran a little further down the wall and I actually found a medical bag. That was the next closest thing I could find. Searching that medical bag gave me no points. So past that cooler is it as far as the wall itself is concerned. I don't know if this Rocketeer husk is always there. It was here on both of my raids that I came in to experiment. Both times I got credit for this Rocketeer husk. So if it is in your round, don't forget to search it. On the ground level, a lot of times there are searchable containers underneath. Also check both of those corners in the back, because in one of my rounds there was a random ammo case that was kind of difficult to see. My next stop on the outside of the building was this little blue cooler. This blue cooler, don't waste your time. It's too far away from the building. It does not track towards your points. On the north side of the building, close to the wall, there is this blue cargo container that sometimes has these little pull-out drawers. This cargo container is close enough, so make sure you get those drawers. They count towards your points. Out in the sand, there are a couple rogue containers. I ran out just to see. All of the ones that are far away from the building like this do not track towards your points, so don't waste your time. I checked them just to be thorough and make sure, but neither of these that you're seeing right now on screen are worth your time and effort. That pretty much covers the exterior of the building. I'd like to talk about the floors really quickly. So there are 3 floors technically in this building. What I'm going to call a basement. There's a main floor, which is the same level as the wall itself, and then the top floor, which is the one that typically has the shredder. I encourage you to work through this building either top to bottom or vice versa. There are a couple little sneaky things that I found that I feel like people can miss. So on this basement floor, it's pretty straightforward, but on the balcony, there's a searchable on the left by the door. I almost missed it myself. I don't know if it's there every raid. It was there for both of my raids. The main floor is pretty straightforward. Just be really thorough and take your time. There is a breach locker occasionally, so if you do have that security breach, you can check that out. But just be really diligent, looking in corners, looking on top of things. It's not always there, but once you move up to the top floor, make sure you're looking on top of things. There were a lot of people that had already searched up there and no one had opened that grenade tube. Also on the top floor, outside of the windows, there are these little steps. You can jump across them if you make sure that you're running when you jump. The first raid that I went in, there were 2 things, this ammo cache, and then there was also a weapon case that I was too nervous to chance going all the way around and jumping over to. On my second raid, there was nothing in those spots, but definitely be sure that you look out those windows and double check to see if there are things hiding out there. During my round, I did have multiple probes land while I was inside the building. I searched, I think 3, forgive me if that's incorrect, at least 2, possibly 3. None of them seemed close enough to the building to count. I don't run this map a ton, so I'm not 100% sure if sometimes they could potentially land on the roof. So I don't know what that scenario would be, but out in the sand, none of them counted for my score. So those are my findings for what things count and don't count as far as the building and its immediate surroundings. If I don't count the key rooms for my score, my first run gave me 8,600 points and my second run through gave me 7,600 points. Based on that information, my advice would be, if you have these keys, obviously there's plenty of time in the round. Try to wait it out in the hopes that another raider will use their key so that you don't have to burn yours. The other advice I would give you is those two runs were very close. They were within 1,000 points of each other, 8-6 and 7-6. I would hold your keys until you got a run without opening a door that was as close to 10,000 as possible. In that scenario, I would say yes, it's worth it. Use your keys. The second run through that I did had opened that first door, not the interior one, but that just first initial door. I went back and counted. There were 23 searchables in that room. This was a regular day raid, so I don't know how accurate that is, but I did the math. 23 searchables at 200 a pop was like 4,600 if I'm thinking right. So that's quite a multiplier, and that's not even counting the secondary key room that's inside. Hopefully this information will help you have a smoother round, and as always, I wish you the best of luck topside.